reason why I wanted to start this particular series is to honestly help other minority women develop this attitude, the perception, the mindset to become financially independent, and to be able to do that with the resources and the talents, the gifts that you have, everything that's already at your fingertips, and learning how to use those tools to acquire the actual amount of income and revenue that is going to help you live comfortably. So this so much is not about dollars, right? Because when we get the dollars, they make sense. And of course, they feel good to us because dollars are resourcefulness for us. And that's how I like to look at it. But even beyond that, this is more so about learning how to gain your financial freedom and how to become secure in the fact that you do have absolutely everything that you need right now. And if that does not equate to you having the resources at your fingertips, then that equates to you having the resourcefulness, right? To make sure that these things can get done. So the road to 100K is all about that. It's about your financial freedom. It's about you becoming the person who does not have to worry about what's happening with your bills, what's happening with how you're going to pay them, how are you going to be able to enjoy life, take your family on vacations, do all sorts of these kinds of things, right? That's what Road to 100K is about. If you are not already a part of our Six Secrets group, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay, if you're not already a part of our Six Secrets Facebook group, then I really want to encourage you to join, because these trainings are only part of the process. If you are in that group and you join the chat for Road to 100K, that's pretty much where the magic is going to happen, because that's where we will have the accountability, all of the pointers, all of the resources, everything that's going to come behind these trainings is going to be in that group. Practices that you can do to answer personal questions that you have about how you can develop this for yourself. We're going to be exploring the power of what this mindset looks like and unlocking your pathway to entrepreneurial success. The first thing you've got to think about is, how are you going to shift from a mindset of having a thought process of being an employee to being an employer or the entrepreneur? How do you set your sights on, how am I going to become the employer, and how am I going to do that mentally? So what does 100K look like in your life? The thing about when we have an employee mindset, right? When you're working for someone, I've had a job since I was 14, was when I got my first job. And now I only work for myself as a six-figure earner. But I quickly had to find out that I had to shift from being somebody who's working for someone else's dream and building something for someone else to understanding that I needed to put that same energy in more into working for myself. So with an employee mindset, you're thinking about, you're focused on your own security, that next check when it's coming. You are focused on trading your time for money. And that's where the whole idea of hourly wage comes from. And that's what we base our worth on, based on the skills and the knowledge that we have. And it even goes back to, this is your education that you're trained with in school, right? This is the standard curriculum. You get educated, you go out into society, you take those skills, you become a modern citizen, you get paid a living wage, you work so many years, and then you can retire and you get a social security check at the end of it. That's what life traditionally trains you to do. That's what our education system in the US trains you to do. When you are of an entrepreneurial mindset, you shift that mindset completely, because you're no longer you're no longer putting a price on your hours. It's your value as a whole that you begin to price. And a lot of people have issues with that. And that's going to be in a separate module that I'm going to teach you with. But when you're thinking like an employee, you want to be secure because you're waiting on the next paycheck. You want to make sure that it's definitely coming. You know how much it is. You can count on it. It's putting some aside for retirement. It's doing this. It's doing that. You're trading that time for money, and you're following instructions. The instructions are laid out for you. It's easy, right? You've got an employee policy and procedure handbook. You know what the job description entails. You sign the dotted line. You know how much money you're going to be making. So it is that locked in security and that traditional mindset that makes you so comfortable as an employee, because somebody else is doing all of that collaboration, all of that heavy lifting on the back end. You're not doing it. When there's no risk involved in that, right? No risk. Other than you could potentially lose your job for some reason. But other than that, there's really not much of a risk. An entrepreneurial mindset is different because it is basically centered on risk. So you have to be willing and able to embrace it, because you then are the decision maker. You write the handbook, for yourself. And if you're going to hire employees, it's your responsibility. You aren't relying on an income stream to come to you. You are going out to build the income streams. You're the innovator. You're creating the solution. So if we're looking at employee mindset versus entrepreneur mindset, we're going from relaxed security to an embrace of risk. And don't let the idea of embracing risk run you away from the fact that you are capable of making your own decisions, right? Because that's what a lot of us get stuck doing. But Build those income streams. Be okay with innovating and creating something. Society starts teaching us at a very young age that we are not to step out of the box, because if we step out of the box, it becomes dangerous, right? That's what society teaches us. It's not that there's danger there. Danger and risk are two totally different things. They are not the same. So it's engraved in us that that's a danger that we have to be wary of, and so we tend to step away from it. But when we start equating the decisions that we're making to, I am going to take a calculated risk, there's always some sort of risk involved with any decision you make, where you decide to stay on your job, whether you decide to apply for a promotion, whether you decide to stay comfortable and not do anything, whether you decide to step away from the job and develop and build something on your own. There is always a risk involved. So here's the next thing that I want you to do. Setting goals and overcoming limiting beliefs. So what are limiting beliefs? Limiting beliefs are all of the things that settle within us that we agree with internally that keep us from pursuing anything greater. People have so many limiting beliefs that sometimes we think that it's normal to have them. And we have had that internal dialogue with ourselves for so long that we continue to pass on those limiting beliefs to other people, even when we don't realize we're doing it. And that's why a lot of times you will hear entrepreneurs say, oh my gosh, I told my family, I told my friends about their dream, and they immediately shut me down and told me I couldn't do it. A lot of times those family and friends are not trying to be harmful. If you ask them, most of them are probably thinking that they're doing you a favor by saying, hey, don't do that. But it's because they have a limiting belief that that's something that you cannot achieve. And you may be walking around with these yourself. So you really need to sit down, listen to your internal dialogue, and think about, what are the things that I'm saying to myself that are keeping me from stepping out and making bold decisions? Those are the things that you need to begin to write down and address. And so how do you do that? Step one is that you're going to set clear goals for yourself. A lot of us say that we want to make a certain amount of money. We want to be comfortable. We want to be paying all the bills. But have you actually sat down to quantify that? How much money do you need to make every month to pay your bills and to live comfortably? Have you written that down? Have you multiplied that by 12 to understand this is what I need to make in a year's salary to make that feel comfortable to me? How can I measure that? And am I going to be bound? Am I going to bind myself by time to doing that, to saying, it's going to take me 1 hour to make this much money. It's going to take me 30 minutes to make this much money. Set clear goals for yourself. How much are you going to need to live comfortably, to pay your bills, and to live comfortably and do the things that you enjoy doing in a month? That figure, probably when you first write it down, is going to be low. And it's going to be low because you're going to be afraid to go bigger. But I want to challenge you. Give yourself an honest number. If your bills are coming to $2,000 a month, and you want to be able to spend another $3,000 a month on yourself and your family for the things that you enjoy, then say you want to make $5,000 a month. If it's more than that, if your bills are $3,000 a month and you say, I want to be able to spend $5,000 a month on my family, on things that we'll enjoy, because I want a new house and the mortgage is going to be this, I need a new car and that car payment is going to be that. Go ahead and say how much you want and put that big number out there and stop being afraid of it. Right? Because from this presentation forward, we are no longer going to be afraid to make those claims. All right. Now, if you agree with me, pop in the comments, give me a thumbs up, give me a hand clap, show me something that says that you agree with finally putting your big numbers out there in the atmosphere. Are you okay doing that? Put your big numbers out there in the atmosphere. That's the first thing. All right. Next thing you got to do, start challenging those limiting beliefs. Start listening to your thoughts. And that is going to be very difficult if you are somebody who's very busy, you have a lot of responsibilities, you have a lot of things to do, but you've got to start challenging your own thoughts. And this is going to get very uncomfortable. You are going to start to get very uncomfortable with yourself when you begin to do this. So just be prepared. But that's okay, because this is what you signed up for. You're not going to grow where you are. You're not going to grow in a comfortable position. So be prepared to make yourself uncomfortable. Listen to your thoughts. And I guarantee you, 70 to 80% of them are probably going to be negative. And if you're following what I'm doing right now in the 6 Secrets group, one of the things that I have you doing in your 6 Secrets journal right now is we're focusing on emotional intelligence, where you write your 5 to 7 top positive emotions that you experience on a day-to-day basis. You write them on one side of the page. And then on the next side of the page, you're going to write your top 5 to 7 negative emotions. So we're identifying, this is what we're doing. We're identifying your limiting beliefs when we do that. The next part of that exercise is for you to circle your top 2 positive emotions. and then circle your top 2 negative emotions. And those are the top 2 positive things and negative things that you experience more so than the others. What's happening in your everyday life, in your mind? Nobody knows that except for you. And it's time for you to identify that so you can overcome the wrong things that are happening and become better and leave those limits and beliefs behind. So that's going to help you identify those things. So that's the second thing you got to do. And that is one exercise to help you do it. Tap into the group for more exercises on emotional intelligence, because I'm going to be walking you through how to overcome those things and how to set realistic monetary goals based on what you need and what you want. The third thing that you're going to do is surround yourself with success. You have got to connect with the right community, entrepreneurs, mentors, business coaches, people who have actually they're already earning 6 figures or more. You've got to surround yourself with those successful type of people. You've got to surround yourself with successful situations. Studies show that you are in the same tax bracket as the 5 people that you hang around most. You are going to be in the same financial bracket and tax bracket as the 5 people that are closest to you. And that's the traditional scientific basis for usually how you can base what a person is earning versus what a person has earned in their past. Look at the circles of people that folks hang around. You will almost always be able to estimate. And that's not a judgment call. That's a fact of what really happens. Surround yourself with success. Get in the right rooms. You need to be attending conferences. You need to be on calls like this one. So thank you for showing up today, because it's going to make a huge difference, because you are shifting your mindset from being somewhere that you don't want to be to going somewhere that you do want to be. Now, mind you, when we started, I told you I am already a 6-figure earner. So now you have me in your circle and you have this knowledge that I don't know if you've had access to it or not before, but consider this as a step 1 for yourself with surrounding yourself with success. And if you're part of that 6 Secrets group, there are also other 6-figure earners in that group. So become engaged with what's going on in there. Next thing I want you to do is visualize things for yourself. A lot of people have done this, and this is something that became popular like back in the 80s, creating vision boards, the actual visualization of what does it look like for the things that you want, for the things that you need. I've created a ton of vision boards and they work. And it is basically speaking things into the atmosphere, writing a vision and making it plain. That's literally what it is. And if you will keep this visible to you and you're looking at it day in and day out and you're telling yourself, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going after that, your subconscious and your cells within your body respond to the things that you say. They respond to the people that you're around. They respond to the stories and the rhetoric that you hear. So whatever you're exposing yourself to day in and day out, those are the things that you're going to mimic, whether you want to or not. That's the power of witnessing, right? That's the power of a strong witness. So what you have to do is write it down, visualize your financial goals. Like I told you before, you're going to hear this a lot, because if you aren't writing it down, then it's not going to happen. If it's in your head, it's not real. It becomes real when you put pen to paper and make it legitimate. Your business aspirations. I want to sell. One of the things that I wrote out this year was how many hundreds of businesses that I plan to serve, how many hundreds of businesses that I plan to help other people start, how many people. I even have it written down that I want to help X amount of people earn 6 figures this year, which out of that, just one concept came this entire process right now that you are on this road to 100K. That was born out of a goal that I had in my head that I wrote down. And then I started putting action to it and say, how can I actually make sure that I help 10 people become 6-figure earners this year? Well, design a program, ask people to enlist if they're interested, begin the trainings and start the process of working with folks in small groups that are very impactful and personable, and in one-on-ones to help people reach this goal if you really want to do it. That's what I designed, and that's what you're now a part of. So you have to visualize what your financial goal is and your business aspirations. Write those down so that they become real and they're not just figments of your imagination, because intentions are good, but intentions are only intentions until you put action to them. All right. And then we've got guided visualization. That's where a strategic plan comes in. So imagine your success daily for 5 minutes, right? Take that. A strategic plan, it is sitting down and literally visualizing, thinking over. Just do it 5 minutes. I promise you, most of the time, 5 minutes turns into 10 minutes turns into 20. So you're just going to have to manage your time wisely when you're doing this. But when you sit down and tell yourself, I need to focus on this one thing for 5 minutes. That's something really rare that happens these days, because we're typically scrolling on social media, or we got a phone call coming in, we got a text coming in, we got a notification from email over here, we got this going, we got kids in the background, we got parents that we're helping, we got aunties, we got uncles, we got whoever it may be. Separate yourself for 5 minutes and imagine success for you in your daily life. So the person that you want to look like earning 6 figures, think about what that person looks like. What does that person do every day? because you have to begin to practice who you want to be. If you were that person, what would you be doing every day? What type of conversations would you be having? Who would you be meeting with? What type of investments would you have? What type of plans are you going to be making? What type of work would you be producing? And would you have other people working around you? Just that alone, I know I've already talked about that for 3 minutes. You sit down and you start thinking like that for yourself in about 5 minutes. You start taking notes. Use your 6 Secrets notebook journal. And this is my road to 100K. Today, here was my visualization for myself. I own a company. It's in this building. It's downtown. I'm helping people do this, or I'm selling that. I'm partnering with this one, or I'm doing that. But there are so many types of ways that you can visualize your own guided success. So that's the second thing. Third thing you do with the power of visualization is, we've done this already with the 6 Secrets journal. So if you haven't done it already, you're going to want to go back and do this, because you're going to write a letter to your future self. Write a letter to yourself describing your success story. So while you're working on obtaining that first 6 figures, write a letter to yourself describing what your success story looks like and how you're going to accomplish it, and what it felt like for you to accomplish it, and the lives you impacted, and the things that you were able to do and experience for yourself, your family, that you've never done before. Write that down in a letter. And I'm literally giving you step-by-step things that I did on my 6-figure journey when I was starting. I've invested tens of thousands of dollars in coaches myself who were teaching me some of these same practices that I was really skeptical about it not working for me before. And, notice I said, I've invested money into learning how to do this. But once I learned how to do it, I was able to monetize other things in my life to take the place of teaching this. And now I feel really comfortable teaching it to other people, these practices, because I can earn my income from other places, because I learned how to implement this in different areas of my life to create revenue and generate revenue, not just based on my past experiences, the shortfalls, the failures, but to honestly futuristically think, this is what I would like to see happen. This is how I can potentially make it happen. And to take the lessons that I learned along the way and just keep practicing it until it became something successful in producing for my business and for my family. So next thing for you is, financial success starts today. Right? Because not only do we have to have the right thought process and the mindset of being a 6-figure earner, but we have to be thinking, this is why I want to be financially successful, and this is how I'm going to create that for myself. One of the things that I always teach folks, and we're going to be wrapping up soon here shortly, we're not going to be on here much longer. One of the things that I always teach my clients, the ones that want to be very high earners like this, 6-figure earners, I teach them that financial success is really based on your relationship with finances. Check your relationship with money. If you grew up in a home that was really pretty much in a poverty mindset and a scarcity mindset, paycheck to paycheck, week to week, which is the majority of us average Americans, we are growing up like this. So, don't consider yourself really that different from the rest of us, because all of us, the majority of us anyway, most of us are not born with a silver spoon. And so we grow up in situations where we may not have had the right type of caregiving that was great planning, or that was able to set things aside and save or plan for the future, things like that. You may have grown up in a situation where your relationship with money was not one that you relied on money to work for you and produce for you. You relied more so on, I have to work for money and I have to make sure that I'm doing the right things with it. And credit is a bad word, and I never want to use it at all, because it's only going to hurt me in the future. You have to begin to shift that mindset from your relationship with money and understand that if you are going to be a 6-figure earner, that your relationship with money has to improve. And I say relationship with money, not that money is a person, or that it should be idolized or desired or envied or wanted to the point to where you are making desperate decisions to obtain it. That's not the type of relationship I'm talking about with money. I'm talking about the knowledge of money being a resource for you to tap into the other resources that you need for fulfillment. The money itself is not the fulfillment. The financial freedom in knowing that you're not going to get an overdraft fee, you're not going to have a return check, you're not going to have an NSF fee, you're not going to have to worry about how you're going to pay for groceries, you're not going to have to worry about putting $10 in gas one day and waiting until the check comes at the end of the week and putting in another 10 or 20 because we're dispersing from scarcity. That's the type of relationship with money I'm talking about, is to know that it is just there for resourcefulness, not for fulfillment and satisfaction, right? Because we can't sleep at night And if we don't feel safe, if we're hungry, if we don't have a secure roof over our heads, if we don't know how we're going to pay the bills that are coming later, those are the things that keep us from sleeping at night. So it's not the absence of money itself, but it is the absence of the things that money can provide that gives us the sleepless nights and the long days and the headaches and the stomach aches and all of these kind of things that come along with it. Your financial success starts today. And I want you to say that. You don't have to come off mute to say it. But anybody watching this training now or later, repeat after me. My financial success starts today. And it really and truly does. Your financial success starts the day that you make the decision to invest in yourself, to start living life how you want it. You have free will. You are not boxed in. You are not closed in. Give you a really good example. I had a great coaching call with one of my new coaching groups that I just started just last night. And one of my clients that were on the call said, when my mother passed, she left me her business. I have been running her business for almost 2 decades, y'all. And she said, after all of this time, it is time for me to live my dream and start my business and live life based on what my business produces. So she understands that free will is hers, and she loved her mother. She loved the business that her mother left her, and it provided that security for a while. But she was ready, and she is ready. She is currently shifting her mindset because to her, it doesn't even seem like when she speaks that she's the actual business owner. In her mindset, it's almost like it's still her mother's business. It's just been passed down to her for her to do it until she passes it to somebody else. So in her mind, she's still an employee. But all of a sudden, I won't say all of a sudden because it took her years to make this decision and decided she's going to invest here. But now she's decided, I'm getting ready to move into this thing for myself, and I'm ready to embrace risk, make the decisions, innovate, generate my own streams of income, and become a successful entrepreneur. She decided that her financial success is going to start today. All right. The way that you do that is you create an action plan. So you've got to identify at least one mindset shift that you're going to do today, whether that is the mindset shift from employee to entrepreneur, or whether that is the mindset from scarcity to creating your own income streams, or whether that's the mindset from I'm hesitant to implement to I'm ready to start the business. Decide what mindset shift you're going to make today. Am I going to continue to base what I earn just on my time and be satisfied with an hourly wage? Or am I going to be okay with building my value until I can charge for what I'm worth? Are you going to make that mindset shift? So decide which mindset shift you're going to take, because that's what you're going to create an action plan around. That's the first thing I want you to write down. The next part of that is going to be creative thinking. So those are those 5 minute per day, those brainstorming, innovative ideas and strategies, right? That's taking your internal dialogue that you currently have, listening to that, transforming any negative thoughts you have into how can I make this an innovative business idea to generate something for myself and my family? Whether I'm generating more time or whether I'm generating more money, whether I'm helping generate more happiness, whether I'm helping to generate a more peaceful atmosphere. Brainstorm innovative business ideas and strategy. What are you brainstorming? Are you creating something that's going to help your community? Are you brainstorming something that is going to serve social justice, that is going to improve environmental factors, that is going to put a product out there that's going to help moms save time? Are you going to generate something that's going to help grandparents feel more comfortable with staying at home with themselves and feeling safer? It's where Life Alert came from. All of these major corporations that you see, even small businesses that are successful, mom and pop stores decide to open because they need a bodega, because the kids need somewhere safe to go buy a soda and some chips, because they need something that's resourceful and fun in the community that gives back, pours a little bit of money into the pockets. All of these come from creative thinking processes, and you have to learn how to start sitting in that. Last thing that I want you to think about with financial success starting for you today is community support. So you can literally write this on a page in your success journal to say, my financial success starts today. Here are the top 3 things that I need to focus on while I'm beginning this thought process. My action plan, what's my one mindset shift I'm going to start with? Creative thinking, how many innovative business ideas or strategies can I come up with based on the skills and the gifts that I already possess, the experience, the knowledge, the education? What can I create when I'm brainstorming innovative ideas and strategies to help with myself? And then the third thing that you're going to write on that page is going to be centered around community support. And I want you to start writing down who your list of entrepreneurs and mentors you're connecting with. Try to also write down, along with who those people are or who those groups are, what the earning potential or what the power of their income looks like. What does their net worth look like? And you cannot be afraid to ask yourself these questions. When you start really sitting down and thinking about what is the income bracket that these people are in that I'm associating myself with, or that I'm trying to attach myself to, is that truly where I want to be? Because remember, I told you the science and the fact behind this is you're going to be in the same tax bracket as the 5 closest entities or people that you hang around. And so if you are surrounding yourself with that right support from the community, I said one thing, let me give you a little bit of coaching here and give you a little bit of a cheat code. One thing that I do as a successful business coach is I surround myself with a lot of government entities. So my Chamber of Commerce, my Tourism Development Authority, my Jobs Foundation, Small Business Center. I surround myself with government entities that complement my business, and I've built relationships with those people, not just to strategically say, oh, I know this person only because they make this much money and I'm going to be attached to this much money. That's not why I do it. It is really based on the relationships that I have with the people. And we don't typically do a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, but we have an understanding that if you need something, I am here to support you. And that's a lot different from saying I can ask you for a favor when I need it. That's not what a true business relationship is. That's not what true connection and networking is. True networking is understanding that you can be a benefit to each other, but you would rather place the relationship above that. Right? And that's much more valuable. That speaks a lot more value than wants and needs on top of what's there. So community support, connect with entrepreneurs and mentors and coaches, consultants for guidance, and think about the income that these folks or these groups have surrounding them, because it also becomes a means of resourcefulness to you. This is not a shallow way of thinking. This is a strategic way to frame the income and the resources that are flowing throughout your life. And unfortunately, a lot of cultures have not thought about this for a very long time. I am an African-American woman, and I can tell you, African-American culture does not center around the concept of resourcefulness and sharing that resourcefulness with each other. And it is one of the main drawbacks that we have as people in our African-American culture. And if we are going to do that, we hear people preach all the time, we have such a crabs in a bucket mindset, right? We have to learn how to overcome that mindset. And this is how you do it. You have to take intentional actions on shifting that from, if I have it, I'm willing to share and teach. If you have it, I would hope that you would be willing to share and teach, because as I offer up my resources, and notice I said offer up, as I offer up my resources and release that into those who need it, my hands are open to receive the things that I need to. And we are surrounding ourselves with people who are going to reciprocate that energy, right? Because we can't make anybody do that. But there are people out there that will be placed in our lives. Once we start emitting this from us, we become the people that we want to be around. We become the dream that we see. That's what this is. That's developing a winning mindset. It's you taking ownership and embracing the responsibility for your decisions and results, no matter how hard that is, no matter how hard it makes you cry, no matter how big of a headache it gives you, no matter how big of a stomachache it gives you, no matter how fearful it makes you in the moment, it's going to pass. Because when you take ownership, you level up yourself every time you take accountability. You level up every time you take ownership for anything that you admit to. Develop your skills, learn problem-solving skills, and learn how to adapt to change, and learn how to surround yourself with resources and tools that will help you do that, that will not spend a lot of your time, your energy, your money in order for you to do. Develop your problem-solving skills. Great products, great services provide solutions to problems. Become a problem solver. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. Embrace learning. Make growth a lifelong journey for you, right? Embrace learning at every phase of whatever it is that you encounter, every room that you sit in. Sit back quietly. Listen. Sit back quietly. Learn. Sit back quietly. Examine the room and see what type of relationships you need to be building. Community is a continuous investment in your personal and professional development. So when we're embracing learning, we're embracing community, and we're embracing every opportunity that we get to invest in ourselves professionally and personally. And that's how you have to look at it. Every room that you're in, there's something that you're supposed to take out of it. It's not always meant for you to contribute to the room, but it is always something in that room for you to take out of it and receive. So always have that mindset. I may not have had to say anything in this meeting. I go to tons of meetings where we discuss millions of dollars across the table. And sometimes, most of the time, I'm telling you, 90% of the time, I'm not saying a word. because it doesn't need to be said. And the people that are around the tables with me, they're not speaking either. You have someone that's leading the discussion and they're disseminating this information. Most of the time you need to be digesting it so you can learn, because you don't want to speak out of turn, and you don't want to speak without the knowledge that you need to be effective in your answers. Sit and listen, right? Be a sponge. Absorb, absorb, absorb. And when the time comes for you to make the presentation, then you'll have it. And I promise you, having the things that you're sitting back, absorbing and learning, you're going to be able to take into other spaces, and you're going to be able to use that, and you will be the presenter. And then you'll be much more open to receiving the feedback from it, because you will be confident in what you understand. And I hope that these trainings are going to do that for you. So as we finish up on these last couple of slides here, from dream to reality, identify your strengths. Think about what you're naturally good at. And where do your skills lie? What industry are you in? Is really what I'm asking you. What are you naturally good at? What skills do you have? Think about your experience. Think about your education. Think about any gifts or special talents that you have. Where do those strengths lie? Right? Set ambitious goals. Write down 3 business goals that you have for the next 6 months. So this is basically another page in your success notebook journal, right? From dream to reality, identify your strengths. Write down what you're naturally good at. This is the first thing. Think about industry. What are you naturally good at? Where do your skills lie? Right? And then the second thing you do is set ambitious goals. Here, write down 3 business goals that you have for yourself in the next 6 months. 3 business goals. Now, highest level of specificity here is super important. Your business goals need to be as specific as possible. So if you want to say, you can't just say, I want my business to grow in the next 6 months. I want my business to grow by adding 20 more customers in the next 6 months, and by adding $2,000 more revenue each month in the next 6 months. Or I want that $2,000 to increase 30% each month over the next 6 months. So at the end of that 6 months, I have X amount of dollars in my business. Write down 3 very specific business goals for you. And I would implore you to write down goals that have a monetary attachment. So some type of money involved with them. I want to hire a marketer that can help me market my business, so my business can produce $5,000 more each month over the next 6 months. The marketer is going to cost me $1,000 a month. But if they're producing that result, then, you're still generating a net after you pay that person $4,000 a month. So think about return, think about investment, think about spending. Set really three really ambitious goals, business goals for you for the next 6 months. Write those down. Last thing, take action. Start small, start right, start small. Don't start out here. I said on another presentation the other day, my grandmother used to say, start out like you can hold out. So don't start up here and then digress, because as you digress, you're going to lose confidence, you're going to lose momentum, you're going to lose any kind of spunk that you have, and you're not going to want to continue to do it. And this is not going to be easy anyway. This is a very difficult thing to do. This is a very challenging thing to do. Start taking actions on those business goals and start really small. Focus on consistent effort, because we all know, you hear it a million times a day, consistency is key. But staying motivated and staying true to yourself is even stronger, because that's what promotes consistency. If you don't stay motivated and you don't stay true to your own mission, it's going to be hard for you to stay consistent. So you have to be disciplined in this. And the way that you stay disciplined is you remember why you're doing it. And if you do not have a strong enough reason for why you're doing this, then you're going to stop doing it. That discipline is not going to matter to you. You're not going to care. You're going to go down a TikTok rabbit hole. You're going to go down a Facebook rabbit hole, a YouTube rabbit hole, and you're going to leave work just undone and not be focused on it at all. What is your purpose behind doing this? Understand your why. If your why is strong enough, it's going to carry you through a lot of things, because it's going to give you that discipline that you'll need to continue. Last thing that I have for you today is to make sure that you embrace your potential, because you are going to realize on this journey, you are the superhero that you've been looking for. It is not anybody that's going to award you grant money. It's not going to be the lender at the bank that's going to one day give you that large business loan that you want. This is not going to be your followers on social media or people that click the buy button in your email. Those people are not coming to rescue you. Don't wait on customers to rescue you. That is not their job. They are looking for a product or service to improve their quality of life. They're looking to buy something that they want or that they need. Their mission is not to make you a 6-figure earner. Remember that. Any customer that is buying from you, that's not their mission. And so they're not buying heaps and heaps of products and services from you because they want to see you make a lot of money. It's not why you buy from anybody. It's not why I buy from anybody. I may give a charitable donation to help someone with a cause in their community, but I'm not out to buy products and services to make anybody rich. That is not anybody's responsibility. If you want this 6-figure earning, you have to really consider yourself as your own superhero that's going after the things that you want. And the things that you want are important. Don't downplay those. You know, a lot of times as women especially, we will downplay it and we will put other people's needs above our own. Don't feel guilty about taking this journey. Start looking at yourself as if you were the woman who's already making 6 figures. Start thinking like that woman would think. Write down who that woman is. Write down what that person looks like. What do they think? How do they behave? What do they drive? What do they live in? You know, what do they wear? Practice that. You will become that. I literally practiced that until I became that. And when I finally did look at my revenue generation for the year in November, and I saw that my business had earned over $100,000, I screamed because I hadn't even really realized that I hit the mark. I was so focused on at that time just becoming so purpose-filled and just providing things for my family, enjoying my family until I didn't even realize that we were doing it until I got close to the end of the year. And when I saw the numbers, I said, oh my God, I did it. And it really wasn't even about the earnings while I was on the journey. I knew about the earnings. I knew what was there, but I set my plan in place and I did not deviate from it. And it took me 3 years to do it. It took me 3 years to finally accomplish that once I became focused on it. Now, I've been in business for 10 of this year is like, I think this year will be my 12th year in business. So like I was in business for 9 years before I even started thinking about, let me get to the place where I can earn enough to where my family is comfortable and we're not stressing over bills that need to be paid and what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there. So you will finally begin to understand it. At first, it's going to be about setting the goal, getting the mindset right, having it written on paper. And then once you start actually getting into it and you start enjoying the journey, it's not even going to be a focus of money. It's going to be, I know what I need to execute to become free. I know what I need to execute to no longer be bound by this thought process or even to be thinking about things being scarce until you're going to start experiencing freedom. And once you do get a taste of it, it is going to change your life. So just remember that success is going to start with that belief in you and your willingness to take action. Embrace the journey that you're getting ready to take because it's going to have hard days, really hard days, really, really hard days. And then you're going to have good days, and then you're going to have great days, and then you're going to have phenomenal days. But what's going to happen is at the end, the good, I promise you, is going to outweigh the bad experiences if you're willing to embrace it and work through it. And I am definitely here to support that. So to follow up with today's first session on Road to 100K, the 100K mindset, you need to be in the group. You need to be a part of the Road to 100K chat because that's where the rest of this magic is going to happen. I appreciate you all joining in today. And I'm proud of you for taking this journey. And I cannot wait to work with every single one of you to help you accomplish this because you're going to help me reach my goals this year. So if you make 100,000, that is going to be part of, hey, I get to put a check mark on my list and say, I helped somebody do this. So I really am passionate about this. And I'm glad that you are on this journey with me. If you feel like there's another woman that needs to be on this journey with us, please share it with her so that she can join us too. But you all have a wonderful day and I will see you in the chat.